let's create a Visual Studio example, and I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is to get started in .NET and C#. I'm going to use Windows Media, a Windows Media control, and show you how quick and easy it is to actually just create a project that's going to have some video in it. Just a regular C# project, Windows application. We'll find a spot for it. We'll place it in, we'll create a new folder. We'll just call it Windows Media for now. We'll just select that and we'll open it. And we'll just create example 1. Just like that. And we'll hit OK. Now, we could just move this form, manipulate it, make it bigger if we wanted to. And I'll show you how to work with Windows Media later. I'm just going to show you how quick and easy it is to get started. I'm going to use from my toolbar in the Windows Form area, I've added the Windows Media Player. And I can just place that here within my form. There's some work that needs to go on behind the scenes, and then in no time it's going to be available. And if it looks familiar to you, that's because it is looking just like Windows Media. You can position things as you want to, nudge it around if you want to. We'll just create a quick example. And if we go to the properties, we can find a URL that we want to use. We'll just pick the first video of this tutorial. And you can see that you can manipulate properties differently than just the property window. And also, you don't have to go in and do all the programming behind the scenes. It just works like an object. You can manipulate things, work with the rate, and enable the context menu for right-clicking and work with other URLs, for example. And you can just create a different mode, an invisible mode, a mini mode for the controllers, or you can actually start with the full default like we're going to do. You can play in full screen if you wanted to, play it a number of times, adjust the volume, mute it if you want to. All very easy to get started. So what we can do is we can just, instead of building the application, building the solution, we could do that. We'll do that real quick. Just like that, it's done. And you could go from the debugging menu, Control F5, to actually start this without debugging, or you could debug using the F5 key. We'll do it without debugging. This is going to build the project, as you see down here, and then it's going to start the application. Welcome to .NET Programming in C#. I'm Brian Max, and I'm going to be guiding. And you can navigate just like you would with the regular Windows Player. You just want to make sure you have the proper aspect ratio for your form, otherwise you're going to get distortion. So that's one thing you want to take a look at. Make sure you have that going on. You could enter full screen mode if you wanted to. It's still playing. You have your controls down below. You can get out of full screen mode. In other words, you're actually manipulating the Windows Media control and you have access to much of the functionality. And it's very easy to get started. Just a couple of clicks and we're already started. We'll see more on this later. And if we just look at the Solution Explorer, we can see that we have references here that are added to this particular example. This is automatically done for us by Visual Studio because we're dropping that control onto this particular form. And if we just look at the code really quickly, we don't have to actually touch anything. We'll look at the code view. You can see that everything's in place for us. We have a lot of other namespaces that are up there at the top. And we have some basic code that's going in here. We are initializing a variable which is our player. And we could add code to our form to work with the form. And you see that it's just really quick to get started. This is going to bring up the form when the application runs. This is our familiar main entry point, and we're just going to do an application.run, that particular form, and it's all set. This is within the namespace of example 1, and it's also our form1 class, which is overriding the system.windows.forms form. And we'll see all of this later. Just a great example of how quick and how easy it is to get started in C# and .NET.